What if I told you that the Titanic wasn't just a tragic shipwreck, but also a story filled with strange mysteries, bizarre coincidences, and secrets that history books don't usually mention? Today, we're diving deep into the untold history of the Titanic, facts that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. Welcome back to Time Loom Vault, where we unravel hidden stories from history. If you love exploring curious facts, fascinating mysteries, and forgotten moments from the past, you're in the right place. Now let's set sail on one of the most famous journeys in history, but this time, we're going beyond the iceberg. Did you know that 14 years before the Titanic sank, an author named Morgan Robertson wrote a novella called Futility, The Wreck of the Titan? The story described a massive luxury ship, deemed unsinkable, which hit an iceberg in the North Atlantic and sank. The similarities to the Titanic disaster are eerie, right down to the shortage of lifeboats. Coincidence or something more? The Titanic wasn't just any passenger liner. It was called the Millionaire's ship. Some of the wealthiest people in the world were on board, including John Jacob Astor IV, one of the richest men of his time. But here's the twist. Many of these elites didn't survive, while several third-class passengers, against all odds, did. The sinking of the Titanic blurred the lines of class privilege in a way history rarely sees. We often hear about Captain Smith or the ship's designers, but did you know the Titanic's musicians became heroes in their own right? As chaos unfolded, the ship's band continued playing music to keep passengers calm. Their final song is still debated, but their courage remains one of the most human and heartbreaking stories of that night. Here's something untold. Titanic received multiple iceberg warnings via wireless messages, but many of them never reached the bridge. Why? Because the ship's operators were busy sending personal messages for wealthy passengers. In fact, one operator even told another ship to shut up when it tried to warn them again. That decision cost more than 1,500 lives. Another ship, the Californian, was reportedly just miles away when Titanic sank. Its crew saw distress rockets but failed to respond in time. To this day, historians debate whether the Californian could have saved hundreds of lives, or if it was simply too late. But did you know there was also a ship much farther away that did respond? The Carpathia. This vessel was about 60 miles from Titanic when the distress call came. Its captain, Arthur Rostron, pushed the engines beyond their limits, racing through dangerous ice fields to reach the site. The Carpathia's crew ended up rescuing over 700 survivors. Without them, the tragedy would have been even greater. After the Titanic sank, many of the recovered bodies were buried at sea or taken to Halifax, Canada. But here's the chilling part. Around two-thirds of the passengers still remain lost at the bottom of the ocean. To this day, the Titanic site is considered both a graveyard and a monument. Here's another forgotten detail. Titanic actually had a coal fire burning in one of its bunkers before it even set sail. Some experts believe the fire weakened parts of the ship's hull, making it more vulnerable when it struck the iceberg. Others dismiss this theory, but it remains one of the lesser-known mysteries surrounding the tragedy. And let's not forget about the animals. Titanic had dogs on board, mostly belonging to wealthy passengers. Out of a dozen dogs, only 3 survived. A Pomeranian, another small dog, and a Pekingese. Their survival is a small but haunting reminder of just how many lives, human and animal, were lost. Finally, one survivor, Margaret Molly Brown, became a legend. Known as the Unsinkable Molly Brown, she took charge of her lifeboat, encouraged frightened passengers, and even demanded they row back to save more people. Her bravery turned her into a symbol of resilience. The Titanic wasn't just a shipwreck. It was a moment frozen in time, filled with stories of arrogance, tragedy, courage, and survival. And even more than 110 years later, it still captures our imagination. What do you think? Was the Titanic's fate pure coincidence? Or was it a disaster waiting to happen? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed uncovering these untold stories, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Time Loom Vault, and ring the bell so you never miss another hidden piece of history. And don't forget to share this with someone who loves a good mystery. Until next time, keep exploring the vault of time.